Arc Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in
asking-
Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in Singapore.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
Let me ask you some hopefully simple questions. You said earlier, in response to a question, that what happened at Tiananmen Square in June of 1989 was a massive protest. Did anything else happen in Tiananmen Square?
Yes, I think it's well documented. There was a massacre.
There was the indiscriminate slaughter of hundreds or thousands of Chinese citizens.
At Taco John's, you can expect one thing: so good. As in quality ingredients used in tacos and burritos made just for you. Every single bite.
So good.
Expect nothing less at Taco John's.
Delayed is justice denied, and I think in many respects this whole ordeal has proven that to be true. We came in as governor back in 2019, and I know there was a lot of questions about what happened down here. How did you end up with this situation where you had basically a sweetheart deal? And then, of course, it did lead to this bubbling back up at the end of last decade. But the reality is the investigation was largely stymied because you didn't have access to the grand jury materials. And so we were looking and saying, okay, well, there's not much we can do. Clearly, there was legal fights about that. But I think the legislature and I agreed that there needs to be a mechanism in some of these rare circumstances where people can get the truth and where we can try to pursue justice. And so we're now sitting here decades later, and you've had Epstein, and then Maxwell is actually in prison in Florida, and yet nothing else has ever happened with any of this. How is that possible given the magnitude of what was going on? And what was going on in Florida was only a fraction of what was happening, because you had activities and abuse in New York City, in the Virgin Islands, and this was a massive, massive operation here that was targeting these very, very young girls. And to not have justice on this is something that has been a big black spot on our justice system. So the legislature, and why did that happen? Well, it happened because you had somebody that was very rich and well-connected and was able to engineer an outcome that the average citizen would likely never have been able to do, and that's wrong. So what they're doing with this, the legislation I'm going to sign is going to say, and there are certain in Florida law now, exceptions to the secrecy of the grand jury, and it's right that, and we have very strong grand jury secrecy laws overall. You go in, those are people testifying, they're not subject to cross-examination. There's reason why you don't just put that out publicly. But in certain circumstances, if someone is in the trial in a witness stand in trial and they're saying things that conflict with their grand jury testimony, you can use it. There's always been certain circumstances. And one is, if justice demands, well, this bill says that in a situation like this, that this is in the interest of justice to disclose it. So this would green light. I know there's been a lot of litigation on this, but this would green light the disclosure of the grand jury materials regarding the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Traditional pension plans have become an endangered species on their way to extinction, and the result for workers has been tragic. In 1983, 31% of American workers were at risk of not being able to maintain their standard of living in old age. In 2020, that number rose to 51%. In other words, we are moving in exactly the wrong direction. All right, that's the problem. What do we do to address that crisis? First, at a time when far too many seniors are living in poverty and many have nothing in the bank for retirement, we must expand Social Security, not cut Social Security, as many of my colleagues in Congress would have us do. And we must make Social Security solvent for the next 75 years so it'll be there for our kids and our grandchildren. Legislation that I have introduced, along with 9 co-sponsors, accomplishes those goals. According to the Social Security Administration, the legislation that I've introduced would make Social Security solvent for 75 years and increase benefits by $2,400 a year for seniors who need them. How do you do that? My goodness. How do you do that? Well, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, we have the radical idea that maybe the people on top should start paying their fair share of taxes. Today, a billionaire pays the same amount of money into Social Security as somebody who makes $168,000 a year as a result of the cap on the Social Security payroll tax. Got that? You make $1 billion a year, you make $168,000 a year, you pay the same amount. Anybody in America think that makes sense? I don't. The legislation we have proposed would lift the cap on Social Security starting at $200,000. You do that, tax all income, Social Security is solvent for the next 75 years, increase benefits by $2,400 per person.
Kentucky in the Senate has been the honor of my life. To lead my Republican colleagues has been the highest privilege. But one of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter. So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues, to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. However, I'll complete my job. My colleagues have given.
It's time to put yourself first and get the figure you've always wanted with laser liposuction and body sculpting from CMA, Comprehensive Medical Aesthetics. Dr. Rudolph Moise and his experienced staff can transform you in one simple in-office procedure. Localized anesthesia, minimal discomfort, faster recovery. Call CMA today and schedule your free consultation. 786-746-6464. Visit cmaesthetic.com. Begin your transformation. Call CMA today.
Well, first off, it's great to be here at Parksdale. We're here where we grow strawberries. Right now, if you're eating a strawberry, you're eating a Florida strawberry. And even all year long, about 15% of the strawberries are grown right in this area. So right here in Florida. So I've had the opportunity to work with the Ag Commissioner, Wilton Simpson, my 6 years as I was governor and my 5 years in the U.S. Senate. And here's a guy that works his butt off. He understands the issues that the ag community thinks about, and we work really well together. We're going to continue to work well representing the state.
Yeah, and Governor, thank you. Senator, excuse me. I call him Governor. I served with him for 6 years as he was governor. And I really appreciate Rick Scott's attention to detail. He, like I said earlier, he's a once-in-a-lifetime politician, elected official, if you will. He understands business. He understands how to cut the regulation. He understands how to promote all businesses, not just agriculture, but he has been a stalwart for agriculture. It's been someone that we never had to question. I wonder where the governor is on our legislation if it was pro-agriculture. We're very proud to have served with him, and not just agriculture, but as it relates to our economy today in Florida, we're very proud of our economy. His work on our economy, on our education, on our environment is all coming through today, and we really are proud of the accomplishments that we're able to make while Rick Scott was our governor, and we're very proud to endorse him to be our next senator from Florida.
Thanks, Wilton.